When you feel like life has dealt you a hand of unfair cards, instead of folding, you double down and you stuck in the game. You faced battles, you felt broken, but hey, do us a favor, put your hand on your heart. You feel that? You're still here. Welcome to the Resilience Files Unlocked, where survival meets transformation. Back to the Resilience Files podcast. I'm your host, Carrie Bernuns, and today's episode is a special one. Resilience doesn't always look loud or dramatic. Sometimes it looks like it's showing up quietly every day, even when your body is working against you. Our guest today is so special. He's only 13 years old. And as we do here on the Resilience Files podcast, we love to read our guest's essay. Well, Sam is going to read his essay today and tell us more about his resilient journey. So, Sam, take it away.
Okay. Hi, I'm Sam. I'm 13 years old and I have Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome, hypermobility type. I was diagnosed when I was 6 years old after always feeling tired in my legs. I didn't really know it was pain at the time. I just felt tired and couldn't always keep up with the kindergarten sports my mum put me into and had to take a lot. I couldn't seem to walk or run for very long without my legs becoming really sore and tired. I didn't really understand until I got a bit older. I struggled with PE and endurance activities, running especially. I would always walk at the back of the cross-country race. It didn't feel nice. I grew up eating normal food, and even though we were healthy, we didn't really know what foods were making my pain and fatigue worse. It was really after one Christmas when we had a lot of sugar and pastries that my mum and dad noticed that my pain was a lot worse. For EDS kids, the cold can be worse for joint pain also. It's a bit like rheumatoid arthritis that way. A physiotherapist checked out my joints and recommended I go and see a rheumatologist. You have to be a certain amount of hypermobile joints on something called the Baton test to be diagnosed with EDS. Turns is in lots of foods that I was eating. So for about 7 years now, I've had to stop any gluten foods. I also had to cut out processed foods and sugars. More recently, my mum and dad discovered I have something called gut dysbiosis, where the health of my gut is poor. Poor gut health is also connected to EDS, so we had a bunch more tests done. The past 7 years, I've had all kinds of tests done. I've had blood tests, restricted diets, vitamins, CBD oil, physiotherapy, and prolotherapy, where they put needles into the back of my knees. When I was younger, and even up to quite recently, at night, well, not at the moment, but at night, the pain would be so bad that my mum and dad would have to carry me into bed in pain. I did start to go swimming regularly, as it was easier on my joints and I needed to do some exercise that didn't hurt. But it eventually became difficult, and again, mum and dad would have to keep carrying me out of the pool. It felt very embarrassing, but I kept pushing every week nevertheless. Now I'm 13, the pain is no better. It's still here every day, but something has changed in my mind and how I deal with it. I realized that if I could realize if it was coming on badly during swimming, I could take a reset, some food or a rest, and sometimes even push through. The pain is felt in my brain, so I had to find a way to turn it off immediately, mentally. So some days it worked and some days it didn't. Everybody with EDS is different. Some kids don't even really get that much pain. They just get injured easily. We're all different. What I do is I know that become mentally very tough around certain things in my life to manage it. I read food labels to make sure there's zero gluten anywhere and just not too much of sugar or added flavor colors that sort of stuff, artificial stuff. I try to eat every 2 hours or just eat a lot because I have fast metabolism to stop the hyperglycemia running out of food in my body, which triggers pain because when I don't eat for a while, when I don't eat for a while, my legs can hurt when I'm hungry. I go to the gym to build stronger muscles around my joints, even though some days that triggers my pain. I know I have to do it. And a lot of the time, gym does feel really good for me. It's just, and I have friends who do it with me, so that also makes it a lot better. I ride a pedal bike to school, like a pedal assist bike, like e-bike, but it's not the full throttle, it's just the pedal assist. Even though other kids ride full throttle, I still want to make an effort to exercise on the way, so I'm actually still moving my legs. I take CBD oil to edge off the pain because pain relievers don't work and are bad for my gut. They just don't. Many other kids take them who have EDS, but I don't want to make my stomach worse because I already have the whole gut thing. I take between 7 and 10 natural supplements a day to keep my body working properly and making sure everything is moving well. I read, build Lego, and keep myself busy to help my mind be strong and creative, which helps distract me from pain. I took up acting, which also makes me feel good. It's very fun. I've achieved a lot of stuff there. Things I've achieved, despite being diagnosed with EDS and having I've gotten a black belt in Taekwondo, well, second Dan black belt for anyone. Main parts in school plays and medals for acting in Australia. I've swum at sometimes help around the house and do chores as long as I take breaks. Like sometimes the pain comes on while I'm doing that. But anyway, and that's pretty much it.
Wow, Sam, thank you so much for sharing that. How do you feel reading that out loud?
Well, yeah, I feel like it's a good thing for people to know about this.
Mhm.
Like, I feel comfortable reading this out loud. After all, I did mention being an actor. This is no acting, by the way. This is just me talking from my heart. I don't feel like uncomfortable reading.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for trusting us with that. One thing that stood out to me is that you're very young, and this started when you were very young. I would like to go back to your early experience. When you were little and your legs had felt very tired, but you didn't know it was pain, what did that feel like?
Well, a lot of the time, it wasn't as much pain, it was a lot of tiredness. So, like, once again, I would always get carried around and I would just say that my legs were tired to my parents, but they didn't really, they didn't fully know what was going on until later when we
Mhm.
actually discovered what was going on. So, like, are you asking about before we figured out what it was or when
Yeah,
we
before you figure it out. Mhm.
Yeah, because like, when running and doing activities, I did feel a bit slower than some of the other kids because, like, my legs were just getting really tired and I didn't know what was going on. And I was, like, really young, so yeah.
Yeah. I bet that felt very confusing, especially when the other kids didn't feel that same way. What moment did you realize, like, something was going on different than the other kids at your school?
Well, once again, we talked about that one Christmas where it,
You were
like,
eating sugar, like, a lot of desserts and stuff.
and also specifically a lot of gluten. We didn't really know about the sugar part there.
Mhm.
We mainly just realized that the gluten was making it worse, like, because even though my legs didn't hurt as much, like, it was more tired than sore, my
Yeah.
legs got more sore after that. And even after I figured out and cut out gluten, my legs still hurt, but they hurt a lot less than they did when I had gluten.
Yeah, that makes sense. At that time, prior to finding out your diagnosis, you were doing races. You say you were in cross country and you happened to be in the back.
Yeah.
At that moment, did you feel like you were giving it all you got during those races, or what did it feel like to be in the back and walking, or did you just feel like maybe this just wasn't your sport?
Yeah, I felt like I wasn't much of a runner. Like, I
Mhm.
didn't know that that was actually something to do with my legs. I just thought that I didn't feel like that was sort of me. And
Yes.
today, I'm not, like, super much of a runner, but, like, I'm better than I was, of course. That also
That's
comes
good.
with
Yeah, well, I think that shows a lot of courage for you, especially at a young age, just to keep showing up even in the midst of pain. And that can teach a lot of people those moments. I know you said there were moments that you had to be carried out of the pool. And remind me, was that before or after you found out your diagnosis?
well, it was a bit after because I started swimming training a lot later. Because
Mm.
of course, I've swum in 2 different groups. I swum at this Palm Beach pool,
Yeah.
then at Laurie Lawrence, and in the Palm Beach pool, little fun thing, so there wasn't really much that we were doing that would trigger my pain. But when I moved to Laurie Lawrence and started swimming at higher levels and,
Uh-huh.
like, getting better at swimming and doing a lot more of it, I noticed
Yeah.
that mainly triggered a lot more pain because I was doing a lot more laps, going a lot faster, pushing a lot harder, and that would
Mhm.
sometimes trigger.
Yeah. So I want to take a moment and what did you feel like when you found out your diagnosis and you all went to a doctor and you saw a specialist? Were you surprised? Like how did that make you feel at that moment?
Well, the problem is since I was so young, I can't quite remember how it was when
Yeah.
I got diagnosed. I just remember finding out all this stuff was cut out. I had diets, I had vitamins, I had I had all of that stuff. Just a bunch of stuff just started happening. I just didn't really know.
Yeah. We're gonna have a lot of people that have children and a lot of people that are gonna send this to their child because there's other children that go through a variety of diagnoses during some point early childhood. I guess in that moment of maybe between then you don't remember because it was so young, it was so early, but now, was there ever a moment where you felt like, you know, you had to change your complete diet? Did it just feel like, okay, this is just what it is? Or did you ever feel like, why can't I eat gluten or those things?
Well, I did feel a lot of that at the start where I just like I missed eating all this delicious stuff that I used, but
Mhm.
over time it's just become just the normal thing for me. I've gotten a lot better with diets, especially with my recent diet. I've had this big
Mhm.
diet, but I went well with that. I didn't do any cheats. I didn't have breaks from my diet. I did exactly what I was supposed to do with the diet until it was over.
Yeah. Oh, good for you. Wow. I will say you are a strong boy. I think so many people when people just naturally fast or do a diet, it's very difficult and it's very hard because you want to break it, but it takes a lot of strength. And I appreciate you continuing to share that. Did at that moment of you going through that, did you know anyone of your other friends or people close to you that was diagnosed with any type of illness? Did it feel relatable or did you feel like you were all alone in that journey?
Well, the thing is, none of my friends really have any of that stuff. Well, not that I know of, but one of my close friends.
Mhm.
Am I allowed to mention names?
If you want to, if they're close
Okay.
to you, but
So,
maybe if it's a person that you don't like, don't say their name.
yeah, I'm sure he wouldn't mind. So, one of my close friends, Maximus,
Mhm.
I know he went through a tough time. I don't really feel like it's my sort of place to share that. Anyway, so his parents, they're vegan, and so that means he has to be vegan too, except the problem is he doesn't really like being vegan. So he struggles with that a bit.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. I can understand that. And I know some other people that have a similar story. It definitely has its challenges. But that is interesting that there is some relatability there of you have a special diet, he kind of has a special diet due to circumstances. I want to go to present moment. So, what keeps you what helps you stay mentally strong on the days when the pain is really bad, when you do continue to play the sports? You said you were a black belt, second degree black belt, right? In Taekwondo?
Yeah, second dan black belt.
Yeah.
It's
That's amazing.
which
I'm
is
so
two
proud of
level
you.
belt. Yeah. Um. Well, a lot of the time, I actually am not currently doing taekwondo anymore
Mhm.
because I just started. I was a lot young. It was like 2 years ago when I stopped
Yeah.
because I wasn't. I was a bit, but I wasn't super as much mentally strong as I am now, and I just because taekwondo used to be fine for me, but then it started just not being good with my EDS. My legs would just hurt, and I would have to go. It with like you said, with the figuring out how to overcome that sort of stuff. In swimming,
Yes.
I've done that a lot more because I know that pushing through, I'll feel a lot better afterwards. I feel like I've overcome it. I feel stronger mentally and physically
Yeah.
after nice big session of swimming. And I did when I those times that I did overcome it, I felt so good afterwards.
That's great. I'm really proud of you. That shows true resilience, not giving up when it's hard and you push through and I think you were probably checking and adjusting. And if there was moments that you felt like you couldn't do it because of feeling too weak, would you give yourself a break or a moment to stop and to, like, regather yourself or just take the day off?
Yeah, sometimes I would, I would have a bit of a break, but
Yes.
since like I said, since taekwondo was a little while ago, I didn't really do all this stuff, but since swimming is a bit more recent,
Mhm.
I would take breaks during my swimming and then, just have a snack or a break or just whatever I needed, just sit at the side a bit, and then I would go back in and just maybe just do, an arms, just use a pull buoy in my legs and just use my arms for, strokes.
Yeah, I love that, and I'm so happy that you found something that you really love and enjoy doing. And in regards to swimming or even doing any type of sport or even being in class, do you feel comfortable at moments when you are weak to share with your friends or people around you what's going on, or do you just keep it to yourself?
Well, of course, I do often I do if my friends and I like playing a game at break and I start to feel it coming on, I'll just tell them and then hopefully they'll understand and a bit of a break and then if we're playing tag and we're running around, I'll just let them know I'll have a bit of a break and with teachers if I'm in class and I need some food, there are certain teachers I can just ask them and then they're happy to let me go back and get some food and I can just eat in class and that makes it feel a bit better. Maybe take a
Yeah.
break because once again, yes, is mental and of course so is school, learning stuff. So sometimes it can be a bit stressful and then that can, as well as getting things that trigger my EDS are things like getting frustrated or annoyed or being sad or that.
Yeah. Well, thank you. In regards to that, things that trigger what's a few things that what's one or two things that you can do every day that helps you feel more in control?
Well, once again, I can sometimes mentally override it, but that can be quite difficult, and I can't do
Yeah.
that all the time. So sometimes, I might read, I might watch something. Most I might do some gym, sometime, and I might just take a break from whatever I'm doing. Once again, take a rest, eat something. Eating is a big part of it too, and then I can just do something and then okay again.
Yeah. That's when you say mentally override it, I think some people might ask you, what is mentally overriding it? Is it saying like you convince yourself that it's something different or that the pain is going away?
Yeah, kind of being mentally strong because
Yeah.
once EDS is a mental thing, and if you can control it enough, you can bring it down a bit. Like,
Oh,
if not fully, just a bit. But it can be quite difficult, and I can't do it all the time,
wow. Well, I'm really, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
especially if it's really bad.
Yeah,
Quite difficult.
absolutely. Well, I'm proud that you've created a system for staying strong during those moments. How do you make sure EDS isn't something that defines who you are?
Well, I like to stay positive and just try not to focus on it too much. I mean, I'm happy to talk about it today, but
Yeah.
like I once again I just do what I can, be normal, and it's actually been a lot better recently
Yeah.
than it used to be. Once again, I've gotten stronger physically and mentally, and that helps a lot.
Yeah. Well, I love that. I think that's an important reminder that you are more than your condition and that you are, I think that's beautiful and someone definitely. Let's go back to some of your achievements because I do feel like you are pretty remarkable to, you know, EDS that challenges you physically, but despite that, you earned a black belt. I think that's incredible. Like, how has how has that helped you? And I know that you stopped because of your body and you said like you needed to take a break for your legs, but during that process, like I also do taekwondo by the way, and I know getting a black belt is a big thing. Like you go through a lot of rigorous training. What made you like continue on that journey despite having pain when you went through it?
Well, of course, so the problem is with taekwondo. When I
Mhm.
was younger, of course, they did a lot more fun stuff in taekwondo.
Yeah.
But being younger, like, I enjoyed doing that as well as doing the taekwondo because that helped me focus. But, like, as I continued on, they kinda stopped doing the fun stuff a bit, and then that kinda made me, like, I'm sure if I did it now, I would be fine because I'd focus more on the actual taekwondo. Then it just kinda helped me a bit more when we did, like, little activities as well as doing taekwondo.
Yeah.
Except as they it just started being, like, just training and exercising, which I'd be fine with now, but 2 years ago, as I was younger, as I said, I was just a bit more, like, wanted to do activities and actual taekwondo. So,
Yeah.
I'm sure I could join again and I'd be better, but, like, yeah, it's just whether I don't know.
Yeah, no,
And and also I felt quite good about, getting such a high belt. Like, a lot of my they were also like, I had a bunch of friends who did it with me, except as I exceeded in the belts, some of my closest friends decided to stop doing it, and then, I kinda just had one friend who was still doing it, but then, like, I just kind of I don't know, cause yeah.
yeah, I think it has its own set of challenges, and that makes sense. And sometimes people do drop off as you elevate and you grow up, and you should be very proud of yourself. Um, and I get it, like I feel like different ages of our life or different seasons of our life, we like something more than another. And then sometimes in another season of your life, you may revisit things that you liked in the past. And I don't see anything wrong with that. That's the beauty of life. And as you grow older, you'll understand it too even more. You mentioned that you're in acting, and I want to know, especially with EDS being really mental, how has acting helped you mentally?
Well, I just really enjoy acting. Like, I've never had a moment of EDS while doing acting because I just enjoy it so much. It's one of those things that I told you, a mental break and just enjoy it. Like, because I don't find that sort of stuff stressful. I just find it enjoyable. It's one of those things I can just enjoy doing.
I love that as creativity has become a part of your own strength. And you say you don't even feel EDS when doing it. We might need to give you a script every 5 seconds. I don't know. Not that it happens every 5 seconds, but since that's like your beating muscle at the moment. I love that. Um, I have another question on resilience for you. Um, because I know there's some young person that's listening today, and I know you mentioned, when your body feels like it's giving up, you do a lot as far as like mentally override it. And I just kind of want to dig a little deeper into that question. Like, what helps your mind keep going? What exactly are you telling yourself at that moment? Just in case someone says, like, well, what do I say? Because they're frozen. They don't know what to say. They just want to, what would you say to that person on things that they can say out loud or to themselves?
Well, I just tell myself usually when I get pain, or this can be to other people too who also have EDS, just you can be strong. You can do this. Like, that's what I think to myself whenever I feel pain.
Hmm.
'Cause it's like it's achieving something. Like I said, when you actually finish the session, even if you're struggling, you feel so good. You wanna remember the future, how it'll
Hmm.
feel good afterwards rather than feeling it in the moment, feeling the pain in the moment. Like, because you'll feel so good afterwards. You'll feel so happy for yourself that you completed this, even with all the challenges. And while there were even if there are others who are doing it, like, but they might have challenges, they might not, but you know that you faced your challenge and you just overcame it.
Yeah. I love that. It sounds like your focused on is your end goal. Like, what is the vision? What are you reaching towards? What is that goal for you? Um, and during your journey of having EDS and going through life and class and school, and if you feel like another kid is dealing with something like an invisible pain that people can't see, but we know that it exists. They know that one of the things that we talk about on the Resilience Files podcast a lot is this like mindset of invisible disabilities. And that's like a person may have something going on, but no one knows. And because they don't know, they don't treat the person with maybe a little bit more care or a little bit more gentleness or even offer them help. Um, just a couple questions around that. When you are in pain like that, are you okay with accepting help or asking for help?
Yeah, often, like, once again, while I did feel embarrassed, I did feel a bit embarrassed after, like, I would have to be carried away from stuff. But actually, lately in the pool, I have been, like, able to get myself out of the pool, like, and just walk out because rather than having myself carried out of the pool or carried upstairs. So I can accept help, but part of being strong is, yes, accepting help, but also remembering that you can do it.
Yeah, I love that. It's okay with accepting help and remembering you can do it, but for moments that you are literally like, "I'm in so much pain, I can't do this," and you're telling yourself that you can, do you think it's okay with asking for help in those moments or to let someone know how you feel?
Yeah, often, like, if I'm sore at home, my parents do encourage me to, like, let me know if something's wrong. So lately I have been letting them know if I'm feeling pain, so then they can know and then they can help me. And yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good. I wanted to just reemphasize that because I do know that I think so often like we want to grow and we want to be so big and we know that we can do a lot of things on our own, but I also want people to know that it's okay with asking for help and that they're not alone and that there are people that surround them, that love them, that want to help them. So at least if a person knows that something is going on, they're you know, they're there in case anything goes worse than what it is, but they're also there to offer a hand of help in case, like, you need that and that it's okay and it shouldn't be embarrassed by asking for help. It would only make you stronger and, have someone there.
Yeah, because as I mentioned earlier, there are, like, my parents, but then there's also those friends and those teachers who help me out, like, in class
Right.
or school, or even, like, if I'm hanging out with a friend, I can let them know. Most of the time, though, since I'm hanging out with a friend, I'm distracted because I'm hanging out with a friend and
Yeah.
I feel the pain because I'm focusing on them. But, like, yeah, if I'm feeling pain, I'm happy to let someone know if necessary, like, if I just anyway, as I told you, I can let people know if I'm feeling pain, they can give me a break or help me out, that sort of
Yeah.
stuff.
That's good. That takes courage, and I think it's also important that people know that. Sam, if you could talk to your younger self, I know you're not that old. You're only 13 years old, but if you could talk to your younger self, um, that just received the news that you have this, what would you tell him?
Well, I'll probably tell him that he can work through whatever he wants to.
Yeah.
Nothing's gonna hold him back. Nothing's gonna hold you back. You can do this. You can build up your mental resilience. You can choose whether you decide you don't want to do something, but you can also
Mhm.
keep going through. Don't be afraid to accept help from others. And yeah.
I love that. Well, that was beautiful. Sam, is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience that are listening today?
Yeah, the other day I had a swim carnival and
Yeah.
I of course my EDS, I managed to this was in my school. I managed to get in spite not swimming for a while, I did manage to still get 3rd place. So
Wow, that's impressive. I'm so proud of you. And you said you went to state level in swimming, right?
yeah, my peak of swimming was probably last year, but at the moment I've been doing more gym, like exercising than I have
Mhm.
been. I used to have a bit of struggle when doing gym, but now that I have a special friend who does it with me, like I have a specific friend, and while he can't always do it, like I have other friends who also go, so
Mhm.
that also makes it a lot better.
Yeah.
Uh, when I have a friend with me because
Yes.
it can help distract me and I can do the gym with them. I can usually get through a whole session and I just haven't really had any bad gym sessions lately.
That's good. I'm so proud of you. Sam, I think your story, well, I know your story is so resilient. It's so beautiful. It shows the act of not giving up, mind of continuing to pour into yourself mentally. That mental strength is by far the biggest skill that you could take away, especially from this episode. I really appreciate you being vulnerable with us, sharing this with, and I know that some young person is listening to this today and they're being inspired and they're going to push harder knowing that if you can do it, I want to say thank you everyone for listening to the Resilient Spouse podcast. If this episode with Sam was inspiring to you, share it with someone else. If you know a young person that may be going through a challenging time that needs some inspiration, share this with them too. I don't know if you have social media. I know you're so young, but I know that you're acting and you're doing a lot of phenomenal things. If you have social media or anything that you would like people to stay connected on your journey, feel free to share it right now. If you don't, it's
Well,
totally okay.
I do have a YouTube channel, but that's kind of just it's not really anything special about this sort of stuff. It's just me doing Lego stuff. So, and it's not.
Okay.
I've only posted like a couple of videos.
Well,
But I'm
hey,
planning
that,
on doing more. I'm planning on doing more Lego stuff for it.
yeah.
And
That,
my friend Jude and I, we also made a YouTube channel. We haven't posted anything yet, but it's
mhm,
going to be an acting channel. Like it's going to be because my friend Jude, he does acting with me, so that also
yeah.
helps a lot. Because like I have a friend who can do it with me because he loves acting just as much as I do, and we can just anything we do together. If we like we're just planning on maybe like taking videos like behind the scenes or like
Yeah.
sharing what we've done with on this YouTube channel. I actually can't remember if it got deleted or not, but like I hope it still exists. If not, we'll try to make it exist again.
Yeah, if
But yeah,
not, you're 14 and you can create 100 YouTube channels if you want to. And yeah, post the Lego stuff too. I mean, people love watching people build things and people love watching people like make toys, move in motion, stacking stuff. And if you want to, and your parents let you, that's the key first. Ask the parents and then, free range. Like, you got the creativity. You can do this.